Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Andrew Yang and what I think will be the single most transformational technology change that exists within Andrew Yang's presidency. Okay, and that is specifically drones, and even more specifically, drone swarms. All right, so let's talk about this. So first of all, the thing that brought this to my mind is the film Angel Has Fallen, a 2019 action film. This video contains spoilers for the 2019 movie Angel Has Fallen, and for all the movies in the Fallen series. All right, so last night I saw Angel Has Fallen, which is it is the third film in the Fallen series. So that's Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, and Angel Has Fallen. And these are movies that are specific. They're action films. They're fictional action films. They are about Gerard Butler, the actor, playing a Secret Service, specifically playing a Secret Service agent, right, who protects the president, right? And in this movie, Angel Has Fallen, the Secret Service agent spends his time protecting the president, who is Morgan Freeman, which is really cool. It's fun to see a movie with Morgan Freeman as the president, right? But I watched this movie, and I actually, the Fallen series was okay, right? The first one was good. I really liked it. The second one was not great. Olympus Has Fallen was good. I enjoyed it, right? It was a good action film. London Has Fallen, big dip in the series. Not a super fan, right? And so I really thought twice about going to see this film. And what got me to go see it was just one part of the trailer, which were these drones, which were used to attack the president, right? And we're going to talk about that in a little more detail. But I can assure you, Angel Has Fallen is by far the best of the series. It really elevates the entire series. And specifically, the way it shows drones in this movie is really incredible and really eye-opening. Right, like whoever did this movie did their research and really, and I was looking at it. I was just kind of researching this today on my lunch break, and there really are, like, what they showed in the film is very, very close to what we have right now, or what we will have within a matter of months. Right. All right. So let's talk about these drones, because what this film showed was truly incredible, and I'm really fascinated by it, by the way. Also, I am an FAA licensed drone pilot, right? It's myself, so I know a little something about drones. I fly drones myself. I really enjoy it. It's a great hobby, and it's fun, right? So, okay, so what they showed in this film was that basically, an opponent, a bad actor, a malicious actor, decides to attack the president. And the way they did it was they waited until the president went out on a fishing boat trip, right? And so what they did was they brought in an oversized van. Now everything about this is really fascinating. So I don't know if you guys have noticed in this, but start looking around, right? Specifically, the company that is using these right now, these oversized vans, is Amazon, right? There are these vans that they're just like overhead luggage, right? Where because so many people fly, overhead luggage has become a major, there's been a huge industry that has made it so that overhead luggage is made to the absolute maximum amount that's allowed on the plane, right? And like down to the millimeter, right? Well, the same thing has happened with vans, right? So I think Amazon figured this out, right? The old model of shipping is to get a big tractor trailer and get some qualified CDL licensed driver to drive this gigantic 18-wheeler tractor trailer, right? Well, that's old model, right? Amazon figured this out. They're like, let's get vans as big as we can possibly get them, and then we can hire regular drivers to cram these things full of packages and deliver our packages much, much cheaper, right? We don't need a highly certified professional. We just need a regular driver, right? And so they showed one of these. So in the movie Angel Has Fallen, they show one of these oversized vans. They bring an oversized van right into the forest, right? Park it just like a mile away from the president. Open up the back. They bring out this array of drones that were built they are put into what's essentially like a cabinet. They roll the cabinet right out of the right. They just open the doors on the van, and then they have this array of drones, right? And they're all in these little tubes, right? They launch these drones into the air. Each drone is about 10 inches long, right? And weighs like less than 5 pounds, right? Maybe a little larger than that, but not much, right? And literally like 100 drones fly out, right? And immediately head toward the president who's on this boat, right? And this is all fictional, of course, right? However, the equipment in it looked quite real, right? And I can tell you right now, again, I think everything shown with these drones is either capable today or will be capable within 3 to 6 months, right? So essentially, what they did was they flew these drones toward the president, and then immediately when when the president's Secret Service agents saw these drones, they started shooting at them, right? Well, the drones immediately they actually would arc down and strike right near the Secret Service, and they had explosives on them which would detonate for a range of 20-30 feet, and they didn't even need to be accurate, right? They could just detonate these drones. The drones detonated when they hit the ground, right? And they would just take out whoever was there, right? Now, the reason, and this was a drone swarm, and that's what we're talking about today, is drone swarms. Drones are not new. We've had them for 10, 15 years now. They're incredibly capable, but what you've been looking at is drones that are incredibly capable, high-end drones with qualified pilots, right? And drones are able to do things by themselves, right? But this idea of getting a drone swarm, okay? When you have a drone swarm, that really changes the dynamics. This drone swarm was numerous, fast, and efficient, right? Each one of the drones was fast. There were many of them, and they were efficient, right? And when you have a swarm, it's almost impossible to stop a swarm. It can be incredibly deadly, right? And so that's what they showed in this film, was like, if you have a drone swarm, and each one of these drones has the ability to go after a target, it would be virtually impossible to stop this type of attack, right? Now, when I saw this, I was like, whoa, that is really, really fascinating, right? And so, I was just kind of noodling around with this in my head, and I was like, so they use this in the film to show how dangerous these drones could be. But then I was thinking, you could just as easily use that technology for good things, for lifting, for carrying, for sorting, right? And in the film, one thing that was interesting too was it was not clear from the film whether these drones were being piloted either by a machine learning program or by an actual pilot, right? But I can tell you already, I know for my own drone will do this, right? My own drone will use a machine learning program that's inside the drone, or it'll use my own piloting, right? So that's another thing that's super incredibly amazing about a drone swarm, is you could have any of these drones do what it's going to do based on a machine learning program that's inside it. By the way, when I say machine learning, you might understand that as AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is really not the right term. Machine learning is a better term. And I'll not defer into that, but it is a much better term, right? So basically, and the ability to switch from machine learning programming, which will tell the drone if this criteria happens, then do X, or to go right to a pure custom, do what I tell you, human pilot. It's incredible. It's incredible. And to be able to just, flip between 100 different drones and have some piloted by a human pilot, and have some of them piloted by the machine learning programs, it's incredible. And I'm telling you, this is going to be absolutely transformative within the presidency of Andrew Yang, right? Now, why is this important? Why do we need to talk about this? Well, Andrew Yang, we're all expecting him to win the presidency. I know he's going to win the presidency. January 20th, 2021, he drops into the presidency, Oval Office, White House, butt in seat, right? And the reality is, I think, The media has it wrong, and in some ways, I actually think Andrew Yang has it wrong. Andrew Yang's a brilliant guy. He has to talk about everything, right? And so, and he's tracking. Like, when I say he's wrong, the only reason he's wrong about anything is because he just talks about so many things, right? And also, a lot of his speech is predictive, right? And I do think he's wrong about a few things. And one of the things I think he's wrong about is driverless cars. I do not think driverless cars are going to be a threat are going to be really a threat to many jobs at all during his presidency, right? And the reason why is I think driverless cars are a non-issue, right, as far as automation. Here's my quick theory on this, right? So one, we are really, really far away from driverless cars. The driverless cars that are out there are not doing well. Like, no one's like, oh, look at this super cool driverless car I have that's super safe and everything's working great. Like, nobody is reporting that. People are dropping billions of dollars, and like UPS just got in trouble. Didn't get in trouble, but there were national news stories that UPS was hiding their driverless cars, like their driverless semi-tractors, right? Like they were not proud of their progress. They were like, we need to hide this, right? Like, you know, like, and you know, they were riding them around in Arizona, and even their driverless cars had drivers in them, right? Like, it was like, it's a thing, right? Like, driverless cars are not doing great. And the reason why is it's incredibly difficult to tell something how to drive, right? You need a human brain, right? And frankly, AI, artificial intelligence, really does not exist, not even remotely, right? Like, not even remotely. We have not arrived at artificial intelligence. And so where are we at? What do we have, right? So we have this machine learning, and here's the kicker, right? So all these companies are trying to build a human brain and get that human brain to drive a driverless car. Now, here's the issue, right? All it's going to take to shut down driverless cars is just one thing, right? One shiny person. You just need one shiny person who has a nice collection of young selfies. They get killed by a driverless car, you're done. You're done. It shuts it down for 10, 20 years. Sally Ride, like, she died in the Challenger. That shut down, like, like space travel for 20 years, right? Like, and it's going to be the same thing here, right? If a driverless car, kills one shiny person that has a good collection of young selfies, you're finished. You got 10 years before you can even whisper the words driverless car, and it's going to happen, right? And no company in the world has an answer to this. It's just a fact, right? Now, so in my opinion, driverless cars are not going to be a major threat to jobs within Andrew Yang's presidency, right? Drones are another matter. Drones are very real. They are here, and they are incredibly capable, right? And having watched this film, just, really opened my eyes to what we're seeing. And the reality is, I really think drone swarms, it is a transformative technology that truly could change how things are done in America, and change many, many industries in a very big way. So along this line, right, so basically, in addition to, so we talked about the drone swarms that were shown in Angel Has Fallen. I also recently saw another video, which is completely nonfiction, and it really showed the power of drones, and it really, and it came from a very unusual source. So, I'm a big mountain biking fan. I'm a big bicycling fan. I cycle specifically in cities. I like to ride all around cities, different cities, Boston, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much the upper East Coast, right? And I like to ride all around on a weekend. I'll Airbnb a night over, and I'll go to all these historical sites, right? But I love seeing all kinds of bicycling, and I like to watch BMX videos, and I like to watch mountain biking videos. One of the best mountain bikers in the world is a gentleman by the name of Kurt Sorg. Kurt Sorg just dropped a video. You should definitely check it out. It's called Shoot Show, Chute, and he rode for Polygon Bikes. And Kurt Sorg rode the Caribou River Providence Park in Manitoba, Canada. And when he was doing that, he was specifically shot by Gabriel Kocher who used a camera to shoot him, not shot in any other way. He used a drone camera to shoot a run he did down this mountain slope, right? And this was an incredible video because it showed Kurt Sorg, world-class rider, on riding down this incredible slope, and he was shot by camera from a world-class drone by a world-class pilot. Truly incredible. Like this run that he does, right, down this mountain slope, it's incredible. He goes through this canyon, and basically he's going down at least 50, 60, 70 miles an hour on a mountain bike. And what he does is so incredible. Like, if he had missed even by a foot on some of the turns he'd done, he could have just like hit his head on on one of the rocks that were a few inches away from his path, right? And flown off that bike and snapped his spine like a twig, right? Like, it was truly death defying. And what in the amount of skill he shows is incredible, right? But as amazing as his riding is, this drone that shoots him from the camera, it is rock solid, super high resolution. I'm pretty sure it was a 4K camera or higher, right? And during the run where he is being shot by the camera, right, the pilot flips the drone in the middle of the run. I was like, what the heck? It's crazy, right? And so when you see this, you're like, holy cows, man. Crane shots are gone. Almost any normal, like, this is going to transform entertainment. Drone shots are going to, truly be massive in entertainment. I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing drones actually being used in just standstill shots, right? Like, it's because you can do things with drones you can't do with a human camera person can't do, not even remotely, right? These things fly, right? And the other thing is, if you have a drone swarm, each with a 4K camera, you can capture all the video you need, right? Well, entertainment is a massive multi-billion-dollar industry. That's just one industry that could be transformed by a drone swarm. And if you get drone swarms to where they can carry things by, 7 or 8, 9 drones picking these up, that could transform what we have, people who work in warehouses, all kinds of if you could just even have drones that bring you things in the stores, right? It could cut down massively on the people who work in stores. Drone swarms, in my opinion, are truly what are going to be transformative technology within Andrew Yang's presidency, right? And when we think about drone swarms during Andrew Yang's presidency, I think we need to think about specifically, so one, the swarms themselves. Like I said, it's going to be transformative. We've already seen the power of singular capable drones, but drone swarms, we ain't even touched this subject, right? And it could be huge. It could truly be huge, right? The machine learning, these drone swarms are being tied to machine learning, right? And even though we will not have artificial intelligence for several decades, at least, if ever, right? Machine learning is very powerful, right? And just even the work that will go into allowing drone swarms to be married to machine learning, it's huge. There's billions of dollars on the line. That task alone will be big business, right? The other thing is the emergence of an industry of drone pilots, right? One of the things I can tell you that a lot of people don't know about drones are awesome. They work great, right? Until it's windy. As soon as there's wind, it is like on a non-windy day, you're like, look at me, I'm catching camera shots with my drone, and like everything's great, and I have this super dope picture of the sun and like these trees and a lake, right? And everything's cool. You're having a great time. Windy day happens. You're like, oh my gosh, my $400 drone, and like, I don't even have a high-end drone. I have a $400. Actually, you know what? I got about $600 or $800 into that thing now. So I have $600 or $800 in my drone just from all the equipment and everything else, right? And basically, you just become terrified, right? Because like your $600 or $800 drone, if you catch a wind, that thing's just going to go fly into a tree, fly into a lake, fly into a brick wall, and you're done. Like it can be that quick, right? So you need pilots who can pilot them and get them down safe and get them into different areas, right? And who can handle the problems of wind, right? It's a big deal. And then also just the ability to do things that you couldn't normally do. Drone piloting is going to be an emerging industry. In addition to that, drone deployment. Huge. It's an industry in and of itself, and it's going to emerge, right? And the thing here is people don't like. A lot of people thought, oh, drones are going to be cheap. We're going to have tons of them. Drones are not cheap. They are not cheap, and they're not going to get any cheap. Basically, it's going to be exactly like, we should all be able to buy an awesome television for $100, but we can't, right? You got to spend $300, $400, $500, but you're going to get a gigantic television. Drones are exactly the same. The tech gets better. They do not get cheaper, right? Like drones are good, capable drones are remaining expensive. It's going to be the same thing, and that means you need teams that can deploy them. Right? And you think that the pilot's going to be able to do this. No, pilot is going to be its own skill set, right? And you're going to bring pilots in to handle whatever drones you have. And the deployment of drones is going to be its own industry, right? Now, the reason why I'm taking the time to talk about this today is I think there's huge opportunities for America in this, right? And I think Andrew Yang is exactly the right president to allow these industries to grow while protecting American workers. UBI will be there, $1,000 a month, even as they're, just like Andrew Yang has proven all along. And the reason why I took the time to talk about this today is I think Andrew Yang is, he is the candidate. He is going to be our next president. He is the right person to be the next president, right? All that is true. But the reality is, I think a lot of people are like, oh, we need to stop driverless cars. No. The real threat, in my opinion, are drone swarms. That's what will actually steal jobs during Yang's presidency, right? And I think, Andrew Yang has already built a platform that will allow him to do a good job with this. The same thinking that he applied to the driverless cars will work for this. Right? But I think it's really important to think about this and to think about these emerging industries and what the true threats from technology are actually going to be. Thank you very much for letting me share these ideas about drone swarms during Andrew Yang's presidency. The election, the debates are coming up. Really excited. Hope you guys are getting excited too. And all of that is my opinion. I would love to hear your opinion about what you think will actually be the technology threats that are real during Andrew Yang's presidency between January 20th, 2021, all the way up through 2024, when Yang will be under threat from the AOC run. Right? I'd love to hear your opinion on that. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.